Shalom Aleichem. It's Erev Shabbos Kodesh, Pashat Tazriyah Mitzayre Tovshin Pei Aleph. And a few days ago was the Yom Haledus of the Rebbe Maharash, Rebbe Shmuel, the fourth Lubavitcher Rebbe. So today I'll talk a little bit about him and the history of his time and see how he is another link in the golden chain of Chabad Lubavitch as it exists today, getting only stronger and stronger, and in the language of the Rebbe Maharash, Lechatchila Rebbe. And it's interesting, when we mention Lechatchila Rebbe, our Rebbe makes such an important part of life, the attitude of over the top, which would be the slang for Lechatchila Rebbe. And the Rebbe says that this is the essence of the Rebbe Maharash. And the Rebbe Maharash said this one time, and it's recorded in one letter of the Frierdiker Rebbe, Nigris Kodesh of the Frierdiker Rebbe. But the Rebbe saw in this the entire essence of the Rebbe Maharash, and you could say the entire essence of Chabad Chassidus, which is the basic idea. The world says if you can't go over, you try, if you try going normally, the normal way, and if you can't succeed, you jump over. You go the not normal way, the abnormal way. And he said, Nichzog, and I say, meaning the Rebbe Maharash, Lechatchila Rebbe, to begin with, go over the top, jump over, do the abnormal, which of course is very, very risky and very frightening, and we understand the fears, and this is why it's an avodah, it's an activity, it's a service, it's a job, it's effort, it's energy. It doesn't come by laying on the couch and reading newspapers or reading a book and just, chilling out. It takes effort, it takes intensity, it takes a mindset, how to do it, when to do it, etc. And of course, sometimes we use the Lechatchila Rebbe mindset, and it backfires because we haven't prepared the kelim, we haven't prepared the vessels. 1983, a known shliach was spending money left and right without much accountability for good things, for giving people free tefillin and free meals and everything else. And the Rebbe spoke a sicha on Yud Gimel Tishrei, which is the yahrzeit of the Rebbe Maharash, and he spoke about what's called Eiris the Toyu in Kalim of Tikkun, which means intense passion, but must be filtered through vessels of Tikkun, of normalcy. But I don't want to talk more about that, just to show you that not always in the name of Lechatchila Rebbe is it justified. The Rebbe Maharash lived at a time when, after the passing of his father, there was no clarity who should be the next Lubavitcher Rebbe. I mean, we know, as the Rebbe published in the only biography that the Rebbe worked on in the 1940s for the Frierdiker Rebbe, was a brief biography of the Rebbe Maharash. And over there he printed a note showing clearly that it was the Tzemach Tzedek said, Psach Picha, open your mouth to the Rebbe Maharash and say Chassidus, indicating he should be the next Rebbe. But nevertheless, it was a controversial issue at the time, and it was the Chassid Rebbe Shmuel Ber Barisever, who, the famous story, he had a question of Maimer, and he went to the Rebbe Maharash's house, and he saw the light open, and he saw him learning that Maimer, so he felt he could discuss it with him. And as soon as he came in, the Rebbe Maharash had newspapers on the table, showing that he's into worldly matters. So he told him, if you don't tell me pshat, I'll reveal to everybody who you are and how you know the Maimer better than anyone else. And that story and that mindset made Reb Shmuel Ber Barisever give testimony to the Bezdin that was appointed by Reb Shneur Zalman Fratkin, the Teres Chesed, the Lubliner, the Goy Noilam, the Chassid of Tzemach Tzedek, who wrote the Sefer Teres Chesed, who led a Bezdin of 3 in ruling who should remain in Lubavitch, who shouldn't, and who should be the actual Lubavitcher Rebbe. And of course he said it should be the Rebbe Maharash, the youngest, and he should remain in Lubavitch, as it says in the will of the Tzemach Tzedek. Although the will also said that the Kopester Rebbe Yehuda Leib the Maril should remain in Lubavitch, but it doesn't say who should be the Rebbe. So and then he passed away 6 months later. So when his son Reb Shlomo Zalman the Schneerson the Moganovis the Kopester, wanted to claim the leadership of Lubavitch, and the Psak Din was no. You're a Chabad Rebbe in Kopus, but you're not the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Lubavitcher Rebbe is the Rebbe Maharash. So this time was a very shaky time. And the Rebbe Maharash, because of his temperament, he was a people's person. And from the outside, he looked like, he felt like more easygoing, not as serious as the other brothers. Dafke, he was the one who continued the legacy. And a point that's important to know is because the Ohel of Lubavitch was the Ohel of the Ohel of Tzemach Tzedek was in Lubavitch, and that was a mainstay in solidifying the Rebbe Maharash's leadership. In other words, all the other Rebbes, the one from Liadi and Yezhin and Kopust and Avruch, etc., they were in other cities. Yes, they followed the Psak Din, so they went to other cities. The fact is they didn't have the Ohel. And this teaches us a very important lesson. That we're Zeichel, we have the Rebbe's Ohel, the Frierdiker Rebbe's Ohel right here in New York, next to JFK. So anyone coming in our flight from anywhere from the world can get there very quickly. Well, the Rebbe's to help them. That we shouldn't have, it should be the end to going to the Ohel in the sense of that Mashiach will come, the Kitz around the Sheikh off, everyone will rise, and we'll have Mashiach Yis HaMesim and the Rebbe and the Rabbeim with us. But until that moment, we have an Ohel. And we have to know that the Ohel is Kodesh Kadoshim, it's holy. 770 is holy, upstairs and downstairs is holy. The Rabbeim are holy, and the Ohel is holy. And it was the Ohel that the Tzemach Tzedek in Lubavitch, that they're rebuilding now, and they're putting so much money into. It's a gewaltige Zach. They should help that Ohel Kodshay of the Tzemach Tzedek gave the push and explained to everyone why the Rebbe Maharash was the Rebbe. It should be the Rebbe, so too, B'yameinu Elu, the Rabbeim are here with us. As the Rebbe said, Vosdaf Memer, as the Rebbe leaked, what do we need more if the Rebbe's right here? What do you have to go creeping to other Ohelim all over the world? So, Lubavitcher needs to think about that, and we should be Zeicha, the Gula Shleim, B'korav Mamish, Amen v'Amen, a good Shabbos.